Hi everyone, for today's video I wanted to do something a little bit different. Since we don't really talk in our videos, I thought it would be great to go into a bit more detail. So this is a Q&A, answering the questions we get asked the most, including how much the house cost, while you watch the progress we made during week 10 of the renovation. Also, this week's project is something temporary that I don't particularly love, so I'm thinking the Q&A can help distract a bit from it. For anyone new here, we're renovating this old stone house while still working regular jobs. My partner works about 30 minutes away and I work from home. Most of the renovation work happens on weekends. Sometimes we work in the afternoons too, but in winter it gets dark very early, so progress is slower. We just do what we can. This is very much a long-term project. We're not rushing it and we're doing most things ourselves.
Miwa.
Some people have asked us where we're located. We're in Spain, in a small abandoned village in a rural area. The village itself has been mostly abandoned for decades. Some buildings are completely ruined, others, like this house, were still structurally standing but needed a lot of work. What we loved about it wasn't just the house but the place itself, the quiet, the landscape, and the feeling of time moving a bit slower here. We only bought this house, not the whole village, not multiple buildings, just this one property. There are other abandoned buildings around, but they belong to different owners.
Está bueno, mira, te prometo. Se lo come la anigua, ¿eh? No, no vengas. No vengas aquí.
We're not as isolated as it might look. The nearest town is about 20 minutes away, and that's where we do groceries, errands, and even pick up some Amazon packages. For building materials, we either get them shipped directly to our house or my partner would go after work to save up on gas. When we moved here, we didn't have a very good cell phone signal, but we fixed it with a signal amplifier. So, day-to-day life is actually very normal. We just happen to live somewhere much quieter.
Niwa. Vete, Niwa. Venga, ven, no quiero que te caiga encima. Venga, sí, sal de ahí. Ah, te cojo.
I don't really love the idea of fencing everything, but it's not really safe here when you have animals. We saw a fox just around the corner there the other day, and yesterday there was just a random dog sleeping on my dog's bed here just by the front door. But we are waiting on some paperwork to be able to fence everything. That's why I've started to put up this kind of temporary fence just so that the chickens can stay here without as much supervision, and also so that the dog doesn't just run away at night, which he's doing more and more these days, since there's also a path that crosses just right in front of here. People walk by with their dogs, and most of the time without a leash, so it's not great to have the chickens roaming freely, or for the cats even, because they like to spend time here in front of the house. So yeah, that's why we are putting up this fence here. As I said, I don't love it, but it is what it is. Now for the juicy part, how much the house cost. The house itself cost around 21,000 euros, and with notary, taxes and fees, the total was around 25,000. Since buying the house, most of our savings have gone into renovating the roof. At this point, we're no longer renovating with savings, but with what we can slowly set aside each week. This means that some weeks we do a lot and other weeks we barely do anything visible. But everything adds up. We prefer to move forward little by little without taking on debt. We also get many questions about water and electricity and whether we plan to live off-grid. In this area, people usually either connect to mains water and electricity or go partially off-grid depending on the project and the stage of the renovation. For us, it makes more sense to sort out all utilities once the plumbing and electrical installations are fully built. Living completely off-grid would be the dream. Ideally, we would love to be more independent, but realistically, rainwater alone wouldn't be enough here, especially with how little it rains, so long term we'll most likely connect to mains water. Solar power is something we'd love to do in the future, but right now it's not financially possible. Our current setup is fine, but it's not enough to run a full house. So eventually we'll likely connect to the mains and then improve things over time. Both of us have ADHD, so we're not great with planning and organizing and also with paperwork. We generally find paperwork harder than physical work. I would honestly rather build a roof 10 times than deal with more paperwork than is strictly necessary. So we try to be intentional about when and how we deal with it. And talking about paperwork, permit requirements vary a lot by municipality, and it really depends on the type of work and the stage of the project. In general, anything beyond basic cosmetic work usually requires permits, and with bigger, more structural renovations, you need an architect, a budget, and detailed plans, which can all get very expensive.
Ven. Ven. por ahí no, por aquí, ven, ven. No, 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 no. Bonnie, ven. Ven por aquí. Ven, ven aquí, ven. Venga, vamos, ven. Es que tienes que ir por el otro lado. Venga.
Some people have told us that they don't understand how we live like this or that they never could, but honestly, we feel very lucky. We have shelter, food, work, and safety, which is more than most humans throughout history ever had. We don't really mind being uncomfortable for a while if it means building something meaningful in the long run. Thank you for all your questions and for following along on this journey. Next week, we'll be back to regular renovation progress as we keep moving forward with the house slowly but steadily. For those of you who'd like to support this project more directly, we've also just launched a Patreon where we'll be sharing at least one more detailed video each month, things that don't always fit into these weekly updates. As always, thank you for watching. See you next time.